1.5. Hey everyone, it's Tango Oscar Mike. I am out here in the driveway testing an antenna. And as you saw, I have a pretty good SWR. On 20 meters, I have 1.4 to 1, and on 40 meters, 1.5 to 1. This is a linked dipole. I bought this antenna off of Tim Ortiz, N9SAB on eBay. And he also has a website. It's dipole, that's di-poler.com. I think it's .com. I'll put a link to it here anyhow. But Tim sells these on. This is a QRP version. I think he says it's good for up to 25 watts. I don't know why it wouldn't be capable of more power. It's thin wire, but I've made antennas that should handle more. I think it's just because it has a B and C connector on it. That's why he considers it QRP. But it's a nice antenna, and he builds them nice. I've built, if you watch any of my videos, you've seen that I built plenty of antennas. I built N9SABs, and I have some of my own linked dipoles that I use. But I really like how Tim puts his together. They're built really well, and that's what I wanted. Now, Tim sells a 20 and 40 linked dipole, both in QRP and both high power too, 100-watt version. But I emailed Tim because I'm heavily involved in ARES, the emergency radio, the amateur radio emergency service, and we use 80 meters a lot. So I emailed Tim and said, hey, you make this 20 to 40, would it be possible to add 80 meters, make it a linked dipole for 20, 40, and 80? And he replied back and said, sure, we can do that. He gave me a price, and I bought it. Like I said, I have that antenna. I have that exact same antenna that I made for, cheaper than what I bought it from Tim. But the quality and the connections and how nice and small, it's professionally made practically. It just looks that great. And what Tim did for me, I'll show you. This is one of the 80 meter sections. This is the wire he's using. All his link connections are like this, with these nice little loops. This are reinforced. He even labeled it 80 meters. This is the male end. This will plug into the 40 meter end and give me 80 meters. Now, normally this end is all wrapped up and shrink wrapped and everything and completely done. Tim left this undone for me so I can tune it myself. So I haven't done that yet. That's why I'm out here playing around with 20 and 40. I actually don't know if the way I have this set up, the antenna set up right now, if I have enough room to go to 80 meters. I think I'll be at the top of the driveway. Let me show you here. So there's my weight. I probably do have enough room, but I'd be up at the top of the driveway, closer to the power lines. And I'm actually going downhill here into my yard. So I'd probably be much further down the hill. But this is not an ideal setup situation. I'm using the trailer hitch on the back of my truck, my trailer hitch mount, and my mast. And you can look up there and see the mast. So I kind of want to get it tuned for 80 meters, so I have it just to try it out, but I don't think I'm going to finish it. But I think I might string this out and rewrap everything. But yeah, so far I'm happy with 1.5 to 1. Like I said, this isn't an ideal setup. That slopes further down the ground, so the angle on this one is off compared to the angle on that one. This is a steeper angle. That's a more shallow angle. I just want to show you this on the connections. What Tim does, since there's two sides to a dipole, and this is linked and you can take sections off and put them on one side, he puts a little piece of red shrink wrap, so you know all the links with the red go on one side of the dipole. So that's, once the dipole's tuned, it stays the same no matter what I have, because I mean, we all try to get wire the same length each time. for a dipole, but if you cut one a little more than the other and then you end up switching those sides, you know, putting that piece of wire on this side and the other piece of wire on that side, you know it's going to be different length, and your tune and everything is going to be messed up. So that's actually really smart that he does that. Again, I just love the build quality. The center connector is really small. Let me drop the antenna down and I'll show you. Okay. So this is Tim's center connector. It's BNC connected with a nice heavy loop of cord there, and this wire, it's all pinched off. I think this shrink wrap here is real heavy duty, and it provides good strain relief on the antenna. I'll show you what one of the links looks like. So let me move this out to the driveway so you can see. Here's one of the links. Like I said, it's done really nice. It's really nice, neat, and small. And if you want to disconnect it, oh, almost had it. Oh, one-handed. So there's the link for the link dipole. And like I said, for this, what Tim did is he left the end. Normally he seals the end off, but all he did for me for that 80 meter is he put another end on it. I have this is some mass strength wire here connected to this. So I can unclip the string from here, clip on the 80 meter section, and move my string to the other end so I can stretch out 80 and have it all done and have it nice and neat. Excuse I just realized that junk pile is behind me. All the crap here I got to clean up. Country life. You always end the seam with a pile of crap that you need to get rid of. Our wood racks for winter and stuff, the trailer's there, but I have some other stuff I need to get rid of too. So sorry for the messy country looking life. But yeah, so I think I'm going to hook on the 80 meter sections and see what kind of tune I get. Okay. So I got the 80 meter sections hooked on, and now keep in mind this is a really bad layout with one side way up that hill and the other side way down that hill. But I wanted to give it a try. I do have a big yard and I could go left and right, but I have a wire above it, and that will definitely affect the SWR. So right now it's really long because for Aries we're normally at the top of the band, like around 3993 or 3983. So let's see where we are. The dip is at 3321, and it's 1-to-1 there, but that's, like I said, it's too long. So I am going to go and cut some off the H end, measure it, cut the same amount off each end just to get the SWR a little bit closer to where I would normally be using it. So I'm going to do that, and then we'll check the SWR again. So I took 10 inches off each end, and I am still way off. I know if I was closer, I would take off a lot less, but I am still way off. I am now just barely at the bottom of the band. I could take off, if I took off another 10 inches, it might move me up a little more, but I think I'm going to take off an additional 15 inches. Now that I know how much it moved less than 100K. So I think I'm going to move it if I can, unless this is my call to action and I have to leave. Let's see here. I took off 20 inches. So I took off a total of 30. So there was 10, and if I fold this in half, should be able to see how much I took off. Yeah, almost 20 inches. And I've moved up. I am now at 3470. So, sorry, there's a car going by. So now I'm at 3470. So I'm at the very bottom of the band. I think I'm going to take off another 20 inches and see where I am. I just need to get up in the band a little bit higher. On the frequency I need to be, I'm at like 19 to 1. So it's unusable. Like I said, this isn't the perfect setup, but it should at least be reasonable within range. So I think I'm going to take another 20 inches off and see where I'm at. Okay, I took off another 20 inches and I'm about 12 to 1 SWR now. Let's see where I'm at in the band. The lowest dip is at 3600, which our digital frequency for 80 meters is 35, I want to say 3580 or 3583, something like that. So I'm right where I need to be for the digital portion, but we normally do more voice than we do digital. So I think I need to tune this for digital, for voice. So what I could do is take more off the end, keep that section, and plan on adding another piece to the end to extend it and make it so it can be set for digital or voice. Now the dip is really sharp on this 80 meter dipole. So I cut 20 inches off again, and I still need to cut more off. So now I am at 3704. So I went from 3.6 and now I'm at 3.7. So I know that I cut 20 inches off, and I need to keep that in mind. If I cut another 20 off and get up in the, actually almost need more than that. So if I cut another 20 inches off, I'll know that I have to add 40 inches back on for the digital portion if I want to be in range there. So let's cut 20 more off. That should get me pretty close, and see where we are. Okay, I cut 20 more inches off each side. Let's see where I'm at. SWR 3.4. Where's the dip? Let's see what frequency the dip's on. The dip is at 3834. Where was I? 37? So I took 20 inches off, and I went up another 120K. If I go up another 120K, that'll be 9, don't do math on camera, 950, 3.950, which is actually closer to where I want to be. Yeah. So I'm getting really close. Frequency 383. Let me just check SWR again. Oh, 3983. 3.4. So I'm 3.4 to 1 SWR. And I was 7 something. So I should be able to safely take off another 20 inches and get up to where I want to be. But I think that might be too much. I think now's the time to drop down and start doing it in 10-inch increments. So I've taken off 40 inches from where I was in the digital frequency that I needed to be. So if I take off another 10, that'll be 50 inches difference between those two frequencies. And that should move me up in the band far enough to get me a good enough SWR that I could use this on single sideband for where I need to be for all the Aries frequencies. They're all up in that area. So 10 more inches, 2.5 SWR. I could have taken another 20 inches off. Dang. So I went up to 3. Let's see where I went up to. 3871. Where did I say I was? 3830. So I was at 3833 something, and I went up to 387. So I only went up about 40K. And I need to go up another 100K. That's about 20 inches. If I'm calculating this right, that's about another 20 inches compared to all the other times I went off. Maybe a little less, so I think I'm going to take 18 inches off. If I take 18 inches off, that should take me right up to another 100K, and that should be pretty darn close. Let's do it. I've made a bunch of cuts now already, as you can see. It's getting close. You don't want to rush it and cut too much. If I go 3.7, another 100 get me to, I'm at 3.87, and I need to go to 3.98. So yeah, 17 inches, somewhere in there, I think will be good, and then we'll see. So I went conservative and I cut 16 inches off. My SWR, 1.12. Let's see where the dip is. And the dip is just before the frequency I need to be. So now I have to keep in mind that my truck being underneath this wire, being on the slope that I'm in, that could all change. If I go to a different location and everything, my 80 meters could be completely off. But it's so close right now that I think that's good. I think that's where it's going to stay. And now I need to remember how much I cut off. I'll probably have to go back and look at the video, but I believe I cut off 20, 20, 10, and 16, right? So 66 inches of wire that I cut off. I do have some more of this exact wire. I have some other stuff, and I could, so I think I am going to try to figure out a way to put a little clip on the end just so I could add that piece back on. If I would need digital, would be an easy way to do it, and keep everything nice, neat, and tidy. So I think that's all for this video. I got to wrap up anyhow. I'm gonna have to, took my wife and her girlfriends and dropped them off at a beer and wine event here called Corks and Kegs. I told them that I'm their goober driver. It's like Uber, but we use pickup trucks and country boys. So they got a kick out of that. They thought that was pretty funny. So I'm going to clean up my stuff here, get Augie inside. He's been chasing squirrel and deer, and get ready to go do that. But hey, thanks for watching. If you build a dipole by yourself, and especially a link dipole, you're going to be running back and forth and doing a lot of cutting on both sides. It's just what happens, and you have to be patient and you have to do it right. And I nailed it. There have been times where I literally have screwed up and cut it too short and have to solder and use some heat shrink to try to make the end of the wire look nice again. But I think I'm dead on right now, and I'm happy with it, and I'm going to call it there. And I'm not going to, Tim gave me heat shrink and stuff for the ends. I'm not going to do that yet. So, but this is such a nice little antenna. I am going to use some Soda Beams wire winders I have, because I do love these things. They, I bought a bunch of them at one point, and I use these all the time. They're a little long, but if you use shorter wire winders, you end up having to make a whole lot more loops around it, and it takes a lot more time. So these are about the right size. I do the center section on 2 different ones, so I can go in 2 different directions, and then I'll do the 80 meter section add-ons on 2 other winders, and I'll label them so I have them, and those will go in part of my Go kit with my 705 and be one of my primary antennas. Like I said, normally I'll only use it on 20 and 40, but for Aries situations, I'll have the other sections, and I can just throw those up and get on that. Besides a linked dipole, the other antenna that I'll carry is a NFED half wave 49 to 1 cut for 40 meters. Now I know I could put an end on that and put an additional link on that for 80 meters. But that's more of a quick deployment, all band type of antenna. And the dipole is going to be for NVIS, for my regional NVIS across the state of Pennsylvania and stuff. I think it's hard to beat a linked dipole in an inverted V. So yeah, so I'm going to clean up. Thanks for watching. Give me a thumbs up if you like the video. This is Tango Oscar Mike 73. Take care.
Tango Oscar Mike